Hello friends, welcome to Biogas classes, and in this class we'll study modes of nutrition in angiosperms. As you know, food is a very essential substance for every living beings. Organisms require food as the source of energy for performing various vital activities, and the angiosperms are not exception to this. And on the basis of nutrition, the angiosperms are basically or mainly classified into two categories. Those are autotrophs and heterotrophs. Auto means self, trophs means food. So autotrophs are the organisms or plants which can prepare their own food, and these include the green plants which have chlorophylls, and due to presence of chlorophylls they can perform photosynthesis. They can prepare their own food in presence of light using carbon dioxide and water as raw material. Okay. For example, mango, neem, dubgrass, etc. Okay. Then heterotrophs. Heterotrophs. These are the plants which may contain chlorophyll or may not contain, or they may be photosynthetic or non-photosynthetic. So they partially or fully depend on other source for their nutrition. Okay? And on the basis of the source of food or mode of nutrition, these heterotrophs are again divided into three categories. Those are saprophytes, parasites, and insectivorous plants. Okay? Heterotrophic angiosperms are divided into saprophytic plants, parasitic plants, and insectivorous plants. Okay? So first we will study saprophytic plants or saprophytes. These are the plants which derive their food from dead and decaying organic matters. Okay? And, saprophytes are again divided into two categories. Those are obligate saprophyte or holosaprophytes and facultative saprophytes. The obligate saprophytes or holosaprophytes are strictly saprophytes, and they do not have any other modes of nutrition. But the facultative saprophytes perform other modes of nutrition too. Besides, they can live as saprophytes. Okay, and the angiospermic saprophytes are also called humus plants. Humus plants. And these are divided into two categories. Those are true humus plants and mycotrophic humus plants. True humus plants derive their food directly from the organic substances present in the soil or in any substratum. Okay, like Wilscaligelia ephyla. It is an earth seed. Okay, then mycotrophic humus plants derive their food or organic matter from the soil or any other substratum with the help of the fungi. So they are called macrotrophic. Okay, like Neotia, Monotropa, etc. Monotropa is also called Indian pine. Indian pine. Okay, then we'll study parasites. So parasites or parasitic organisms are those which derive their food from the body of other living organisms. Okay, and they may be obligate or facultative. Okay, so obligate parasite is one which cannot live independently of the host. Independent of the host. Host means the organism from whose body the parasites derive their food. Okay, so obligate parasites cannot be separated from the host organism or host plants. Similarly, facultative parasites are different from obligate in sense that they can be separated from the host plant or their host. Okay. Then these parasites may also be external or internal. Or these are also called ectoparasites. Ectoparasites and internal parasites are also called endoparasites. Endoparasites. So ectoparasite means the parasite which lives outside the body of the host, like Cuscuta, which we called dodar plant or amatel. Okay. Similarly, the endoparasites are the parasites which live inside the body of the host, like Rafflesia. Rafflesia. This is the plant which flower is the largest in the world. Okay, and each flowers measure about 1 meter in diameter and weighs about 11 kilogram. Okay, and the stem of this plant, Rafflesia, remains inside the root of the forest plants. Okay, but only the flowers are exposed. Okay, then the parasites are parasitic plants are again divided into two types, which are stem parasites and root parasites. Okay, so stem parasites are those which derive their food from the stem of other plants. Okay, and root parasites are those which derive their food from the roots of other plants. Again, these stem parasites and root parasites are divided into total stem parasite, partial stem parasite, total root parasite, and partial root parasites. Okay, so the total parasites, whether they are stem parasite or root parasites, are generally non-photosynthetic. They do not have chlorophyll. So they totally depend on their host. Okay, but the partial parasites depend partially on their host. They can prepare their own food by the process of photosynthesis, but they depend on their host only for minerals and water. Okay? First we will study total stem parasites. Okay? So the examples of total stem parasites are Cuscuta, which we call Dodder or Amarbel, as I said earlier. Then Arcithobium, and this Arcithobium is the smallest angiospermic parasite. Okay, and there is a species of Arcithobium called Arcithobium minutissimum, which is parasite on the panospecies Willichina. Panos Willichina. Okay. Then partial stem parasites. It includes partial stem parasites include Viscum, Loranthus, then Casitha, etc. Then there is species of Viscum called Viscum album, which is parasite on the stem of apple, ear, pinus, and populus. Okay. Then we'll study root parasites. First, total root parasite. Okay. So total root parasites include the members of the family Orobanchaceae, Balanoporaceae, and Rafflesiaceae. Okay. For example, Orobanchi, Balanophora, Rafflesia, etc. Okay. And there is a species of Orobanchi called Orobanchi samui, which is parasite on the root of brinjal, potato, tomato, cabbage, and mustard. Okay. Similarly, there is another genus also called Cistanci, which remains its parasite in the root of Calotropis. Okay. Then we'll study Persian root parasites, and the common examples are the Santalum album, then Striga, etc. Okay, Santalum album remains as parasite on the root of Dalbergia shishu. Okay, similarly, Striga remains as parasite in roots of sugarcane and sorghum. Okay, sugarcane and sorghum. Then we'll study insectivorous plants. Okay, insectivorous plants. So these insectivorous plants are the photosynthetic plants. They can prepare their own food, but they depend on the insects for their nitrogen requirements. Okay, actually these plants remain are grown in marshy areas where the soil is deficient of nitrogen due to denitrification. Okay, and for that they capture and digest the insect for nitrogen. Okay, and this category of plants include Dionia, which we call Venus flytrap. Then Drosera, commonly called sundew. Then Utricularia, commonly called bladderwort. Then Nepenthes, commonly called pitcher plant. Then there are some other examples also, like Unguicula, commonly called butterwort. Etc. Okay, so all these are the insectivorous plants. Another examples are there also, like Sarracenia. Okay, so this much in this class, and we will start next topic further.